Well, Seb, we're just over a week away from another huge night of Quest Boxing, back at the K2 Arena in Crawley in West Sussex, where you captured your first Quest title. So there's a lot to cover. It's a big fight in prospect. This time, it's not the regional title that you won last time out. You're going to be challenging for the vacant national lightweight title against co-challenger Stephen Donnelly. So let's look back first and foremost. Last season, the biggest night of your Quest Boxing League career, a huge win over Nicky Slatcher, and I know that you recently got to watch that back on TV. So first and foremost, thoughts, memories of that fight?
Yeah, it was everything that I thought it was. Looking back on it the other night when it came out on TV, I felt like I boxed really well. I said to yourself last time we done this, I felt like it would be sort of the best version of me on the night, and I do think that it was in hindsight. I felt like a little bit of a slow start in the first, but ended the first round, second and third, I felt like I really came into the bout, and I felt like I showed the Quest guys that not only is the back foot boxing is what I can do, but I can also, I'm strong, and I felt like I showed that really well in the last fight. So look, we're building on it, and we're looking forward to bring the national belt home next week as well.
It was a great performance. I know that we were here in the build-up to that fight, talking about the fight, obviously against Nicky Slatcher, and I said we've seen the kind of the back foot boxer, the sort of defensive, picking his shots, moving out of range. But that fight, again, you showed some different layers to your arsenal. And as I say, like you say, caught him with a huge shot at the end of the first round that really sort of did a lot of damage. And then from there on, it looked like it was yours to lose, and obviously you got the stoppage win, which was a great fight. But like I say, March 4th, K2 Crawley, we're back, and the man that will be standing in the opposite corner this time, the Fighting Mick Stephen Donnelly. We've seen him in the competition before, but yeah, I mean, let's start with Stephen as an opponent. Like I say, it's a step up. It's national. It's over 5 2-minute rounds. It's one of the biggest titles in the competition, and the man, like I say, who will be challenging you is Stephen Donnelly. So what do you know about him?
Yeah, we studied him, similar to how we studied Nicky going into our last fight. I know he's a come-forward, aggressive fighter. So was Nicky. I felt like, no disrespect to Nicky, but I felt like it's a slight step up. Similar attributes, slightly shorter than myself. Obviously, for the weight, I'm quite big. And he's gonna want to bring it early doors, and I feel like for me it's building on from the last fight. I want to show that not only am I a better boxer, but also I've got the power as well to causing problems if we don't box in the back foot for elements of the fight. I feel like that is going to be important to show both sides, like we did against Nicky. Show times where I come forward, be strong, as also the boxing I like to do as well, and get with good footwork. So yeah, I've studied him. We were very content with what we're going to have to do on the night to get the win. I'll probably keep a lot of it to myself, to be quite frank, Alan. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good, and I know what we have to do to get the win here.
On the kind of physicality side of things, like you say, similar fight to the Nicky Slatcher fight.
Yeah.
You're taller than him, longer reach. When you look at fighters, I know some fighters, they like a particular style of opponent. In boxing, you don't get the same style of opponent all the time. You're talking about dealing with counter punchers, with come forward fighters, tall fighters, short fighters. It's a real mix. But for you, being so tall for the weight, is there a particular style that you feel suits you better?
Not really, to be honest. I've boxed such a mixed bag over my career. Look at Quest, but also prior to that on sort of older shows that I've been on. I've boxed so many different styles, whether it's southpaw, whether it's orthodox coming through really strong, back foot, silky boxers. I felt like I've done my tutorage over the years, and I really am prepared for whoever that may be in front of me. Obviously, if you look at my size for the weight, I am going to be taller than the majority of the the lightweights that are out there. So having a lad coming forward trying to close the range isn't something I'm too unfamiliar with, because they all try and do that, if you like. So there's no style per se. I'm just, as long as I'm the best version of myself on the night, I know that I can beat anybody in the league, and I know that I can beat anybody with a different style as well. So it's not about being overconfident. It's just a matter of being realistic. I know the arsenal and the tools I've got in my arsenal, so to speak. And if I tap into all of those, I can beat them.
Obviously, the last fight was mid-November when you won the title. a little bit of a break, back in training hard, working towards the March 4th. So in terms of your kind of development, we've seen, like I say, you fight lots of different styles. We saw you fight Salah Triple M Busic, who recently he won the national title at the weight below, so he's bounced back and had a great win against Mohamed Yakubi last time out. But where do you see your progression? I mean, how good are you now, but also how much more is there to come?
I feel like, look, if you look at my resume on the Quest, like, I know, look, it's not been too long in its existence as purely Quest, but look, I've beat the likes of Triple M or Double M. I've been in there with really silky boxers like Ikai Reeses, beat him. Nicky posed a totally different box of tricks where he was a strong come forward aggressor, got the win against him. The likes of your Darryls and your Dexters that have come up short against. Look, I feel like I've boxed all the best boys in the league, really. So in terms of what I've shown so far, I don't think that's the best of what I can bring. I feel like I'm getting better each time I box, and I feel like, yeah, long may that continue, and I can prove that against Stephen on the night next week.
How's camp been for this one? I know you're not going to give too much away, but I know that you sort of your training is kind of based really all over the place. I mean, you travel for sparring, unlike a lot of fighters where they sort of tend to prefer the home comforts of their own gym and the sort of their own gym mates. But I know that you travel for sparring, you travel to different sort of places to train. You know, your coach Arthur James, he's been in the camp now for, is it 2 or 3 fights? So
yeah, I think it's our 4th fight together now. So
but yeah, training wise, I mean, how has this camp gone?
it's been brilliant. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Obviously, we've got Arthur up in Croydon that I see a couple of times a week. Sometimes he comes down here to see me as well. Mark over at Fit Lab where we are now, I see him a couple of times a week as well. And yeah, I'm taking lots of different sort of feedback from so many different coaches. Obviously, look, I do take myself out of my comfort zones quite a lot and travel around for sparring. Might be a little bit unpopular to a lot of gyms, but I feel like for me it really does help because I'm going into a Lions Den each and every time I go away from home to get this sparring. So when I go there on the night, it's nothing I'm sort of unfamiliar with at all. It's completely normal for me to go in there, get rounds or box or fight someone I've never met before. It's just I don't feel like sticking in your home gym all the time is the winning recipe. Everyone's different, of course, but yeah, I felt like this camp on the whole has been brilliant. I felt like not only my boxing, but my strength, my running, I felt like it's been really all round. I mean, look, I'd say this anyway if it wasn't, but I promise you it is.
As he limps away.
Yes, I limp away. But no, I feel brilliant if I'm honest. I felt like everything that I wanted to achieve going into the fight, I felt like I ticked all those boxes. So now you'll just see if I'm telling the truth next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like I say, we know about the physical side of boxing,
yeah,
but the psychological, the mental side of thing is so important as well. And if you're heading into that fight, knowing that no stone has been left unturned, every box has been ticked, you couldn't have put in more to be ready for this fight. And like I say, it is a big fight because obviously Donnelly, he's aggressive, he's come forward, he throws those big looping shots over the top. And sometimes as a taller fighter that can be hard to avoid. But I suppose not looking past Stephen Donnelly in any way, but the division now is on fire. You've got the likes of your old foe Dexter Houghton, who's now the sort of the British champion. You're going for the national, which is just one fight or one title below that. You've got the likes, like I say, of Salah Triple M Busic, who incidentally, after his sort of fight winning the national super featherweight title, said the fight I want most now is Seb Hallett.
Oh really?
He said I want that rematch with Seb Hallett. He beat me, but I want him, and that's something that I want as soon as possible. So there's some really big fights, and that's what I think is exciting about the competition now, is that people are watching it and they're looking at the likes of your performance against Nicky Slatcher. They're looking at the fact that you narrowly lost out to Dexter Houghton. You've already beaten Triple M Busic, and there's a lot of other lightweights coming in, or sort of who are making their way up the rankings. So you always need a good dance partner. And it seems like now more than ever there are plenty of dance partners out there if on March 4th you come through.
Look, there's so many sort of people in the division, fighters, but all I'm concerned about is Stephen Donnelly next week. I appreciate other people might want to punch me in the face as well, which is always nice to hear. But no, look, we're focusing on Stephen next week. the rest will take care of itself. I don't like the idea of speaking about a fight after this one. I know exactly what I've got to do next week. I've got a game plan tailored for Stephen alone. So we'll pick the up where we left off regarding the rest after next week for sure.
And we saw the power, like I say, probably your most devastating performance against Nicky Slatcher last time out. Can it get better than that?
It's frustrating because everyone always sort of associates me with a back foot boxer, which look, on the quest I've shown a lot of that, but I always know, and you can speak to my sparring partners and people in the gym, that I'm not going to sit here and say that that's my main game, but I am strong and I am a presence when I'm in there, and I feel like it looks slightly different when you're watching it when you're actually in front of me type thing. So I feel like I can definitely pick up where I left off from looking how I did against Nicky, hopefully stepping it up now for the national, and hopefully it'll be bigger and better this time out.
No, well, we're really looking forward to it, Seb, and as I say, that fight, it's happening on Saturday, March the 4th, the K2 Arena in Crawley, West Sussex. The show is called Undisputed, and Seb Hallett goes for his second title in the competition up against Stephen Donnelly. Seb, I'm going to let you get back to training, we'll look forward to seeing you in the ring next weekend.
Thank you, mate, and thanks for having me on as always.
A pleasure.
Cheers.